Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and I got a comment on my video called ADHD People Don't Need Special Treatment. And Miss Nicole Lamb commented, quote, I love this perspective. I have an 18-year-old with ADHD, and you're absolutely correct in saying that it is a gift, not a disability. Thank you for being so clear about those who have the same kind of quote-unquote rewiring. A quote-unquote normal brain is debatable when you are referring to the differences. LOL, my daughter is always thinking one step ahead and can be frustrated or frustrating because of the communication pace between us is so different. What's your thoughts on anxiety? Do you think anxiety and ADHD are relatable in your personal experience? Do you find a clean diet helps your not so welcome symptoms to arise? I appreciate your opinion about fidget spinners. Always wondered about that. Explain why, quote unquote, they are your enemy. For further clarification, sometimes repetition is good for those that do not absorb information that great, like me. So, as you said, you have a rare gift and do not need special treatment. However, I will say this. I think ADHD people looking from the outside are brilliant because their brains are are moving so quickly. I am guessing that if you harness it in that way that helps you, you will be extremely successful if not already. I thought you may find this interesting, and she links a list of people in the current century who have been diagnosed with ADHD, or from the past century who have been diagnosed with ADHD. So thank you for the comment, Nicole, and let's get to your questions. What are your thoughts on anxiety? I think everybody, regardless if they have ADHD or not, experiences some form of anxiety on a mental level, because I mean, we all get nervous, so we all have some form of anxiety, but others have anxiety worse than others, and that has to be evaluated by some type of professional, because anxiety is just not something you take medicine for right away. You need to get a certain type of medicine for it. But look, I think everybody, regardless of if they have an ADHD brain or not, has some form of anxiety on a natural mental level, because we always get anxious or nervous around maybe some types of people that might have done us wrong in the past, or we might get anxiety over, that we may not get positive feedback on something that we worked hard on. So anxiety, I think, is natural in everyone, ADHD brained or not. And like I said, some people have it worse than others, but that has to be evaluated by a professional. I personally, this is going into your next question, do you think anxiety and ADHD are relatable in your personal experience? Maybe in some cases, but in my case, from experience, no. I am naturally introverted. I'm a social introvert. I like to socialize in, small groups of people. I can't take crowds over 90 people. But the thing is, though, the cases where anxiety and ADHD come into play is that ADHD is a brain pattern. It's a wiring which is different from other people. As I said in my last video I did on it. But the thing is, though, with anxiety, though, this is a genuine mental health problem that is really bad in some others. It's a natural feeling that all people have, but some people have it worse than others, which can arise in other mental health issues like schizophrenia and stuff like that. And so that has to be evaluated by other people, real professionals. But anxiety and ADHD, in my experience, are not relatable because my social anxiety is not related to my ADHD. I don't think I really have anxiety to begin with, but I should say I don't think I have anxiety on that level. I think everybody has anxiety on a normal level, but I don't have it on an extreme level where I need to be on medication for it. But in some cases, if ADHD and anxiety are relatable, there's more than just ADHD involved. Maybe someone is born with a predisposition towards anxiety or predisposition towards schizophrenia or some type of real mental disability that can handicap them because of the anxiety. But anxiety, if it is that bad, can be cured with medicine. Do you find a clean diet helps your not so welcome symptoms to arise? Once again, that is on that particular type of person. I've always had a omnivore diet, but I consider myself more of a carnivore. But I've always ate junk food. I've always coffee addict here. My diet really is not quote unquote clean, but it never did anything to harm my ADHD. I have Crohn's disease, on the other hand, which I should really eat healthier for, but once again, I guess I really don't give that much of a shit about my health because I eat the same shit. So I should really start caring about my health more so. Because Crohn's disease is something to fuck with. I explain why they are your enemy for further clarification, referring to fidget spinners or fidgety things. I'll give you an example. From my experience and from people with ADHD, it goes by experience, but from my experience, I have limited attention span like everybody else, including those with a normal brain pattern. So, even with my ADHD, even though I have the ability to multitask, I can only multitask to a certain degree. I like, okay. Now, see, that's the thing. I could pay attention to at least like maybe 10 things going on at once. But anything above 10 things, I get sidetracked. Like, really sidetracked. And, to every person with an ADHD brain, it's different. Some of us might be able to handle like 8 things or 9 things or 5 things all at once. Or even 20 things, which, for those people, I applaud you if you can handle at least 20 things. I can handle half that. I can handle 10 things going on at once. But when I say fidget spinners are your enemy, is like, okay, if I was at college right now, I dropped out due to health reasons, meaning I have Crohn's disease, and now it's under control, but then I was in and out of hospitals. And I was missing classes at Penn State School like nuts. But see, here's the thing. If I'm... if I'm playing with this, right, my main attention is playing with this. So if, professor's talking, yada, 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 and I'm playing with this, what happened is I'm putting all my attention to this. And I'm not hearing one word that the professor's saying. And so when I say the fidget spinners are your child's enemy, is that these are very, very fucking distracting. You know how addictive this is to spin? And anybody with a normal brain is addicted to the shit too. Because it's fascinating. You spin it, and you're paying attention, and it's almost an entrancement of how this thing is spinning, and you're just spinning it. All your attention is going to this thing. Especially with people with ADHD. More so. all our attention is going to this thing, and the words aren't even processing. So this is why I don't advocate ADHD kids playing with fidget spinners or anything fidgety, because all the attention goes to the fidget thing instead of listening to the teacher or the professor at that. I hope those. I hope you know those answer your questions, and I appreciate the link that you sent me. Some of these people I knew, but some of these people I didn't know had ADHD. Let's go through the list. Justin Bieber. Not really a fan of him. Simone Biles. David Blaine. That I knew. Terry Bradshaw. That I knew. Richard Branson. If you don't know who he is, he's the founder of Virgin Mobile. Andre Brown. Glenn Beck. This was surprising. Jim Carrey, I knew. James Carville, that I knew. Jim Caviezel. Didn't he? The actor who played Jesus was diagnosed with ADHD and dyslexia at the age of 25. He felt stupid in school because he had to study so much harder than anyone else. Is that the same Jesus movie from 2000? 2000. Yeah, 2005. Is this the same actor? Or 1999? Because I remember seeing this on television when I was a kid. I wonder if it's the same. No, it's not. Not the same person. Thought it was. Wendy Davis. Best for her known as Colonial. Joan Burton. And Lifetime television series Army Wives. ADHD makes you different, not defective. Kind of what I was saying. I reworded it, but that's exactly what I was saying. Catherine Ellison. Catherine Ellison is a Pulitzer Prize winning former foreign correspondent for Knight Ridder newspapers who has freelance articles for publications including the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Atlantic, and Smithsonian. She is the author of 5 books including Buzz, A Year of Paying Attention, a memoir about raising a son with ADHD after being diagnosed with it herself. Josh Freeman, a football player. What does he say on it? Like millions of Americans, I have ADHD and I have been prescribed and permitted to take medication to treat this condition for the entirety of my NFL career. Sucks for his case, I guess, beyond the medicine. Ryan Gosling. As a child, Ryan Gosling was reportedly unable to read and was diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, prescribed Ritalin, and placed in a class for special needs students. He was in an unfortunate situation. Really, unfortunate situation. Cami Granato. If I say her name right, I don't know. I guess an Olympic player. Virgil Green, another football player, Ed Hallowell, MD, that I knew. Woody Harrelson, he's been open about that. Mariette Hartley. Mariette Hartley often discusses her diagnosis of ADHD and bipolar disorder. She's hosted videos to help adults with ADHD deal and manage with the symptoms. She founded the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention. Oh, she was in, I guess, the TV show, The Incredible Hulk. And Cameron Herold. TED speaker Cameron Herold helped grow companies at the 100 million mark. He explains why ADHD gives him the edge on MBA types. ADHD traits can be the opportunity for entrepreneurs. Like, as I said in one of my other videos, we are the innovators. Paris Hilton. This is a shock. Because to me, Paris Hilton is just stupid, in my opinion, because of that Cali Girl shit. But Paris Whitney Hilton is the American socialite, businesswoman, and entrepreneur. She is the great-granddaughter of Conrad Hilton, the founder of Hilton Hotels. She comes as a very airheaded to me, but I had no idea she was diagnosed with ADHD. But my interpretation of Paris Hilton has nothing to reflect her success with an ADHD diagnosis. Dean Kamen. Why did Kamen become so prolific as an inventor? As a child, he was dyslexic and ADHD. And diagnosed with ADHD. He credits his ADHD as the catalyst for so many inventors or innovations. He was obscene in following his own path, according to his brother Mitch. His father, a cartoonist artist from Tales of the Crypt and Weird Science, called him a human irritant. His teacher nicknamed him Dino the Relentless. Christopher Knight, who originally played Peter Brady, Solange Nobles. This is her saying, I was diagnosed with ADD twice. I didn't believe the doctor who told me, and I had a whole theory that ADD was just something that they invented to make you pay for medicine, but then the second doctor told me I had it. You know, it's always good to get a second opinion. Adam Creek, Kreek, Creek. Adam Creek is a comedian rower born in London, Ontario. He was a student at the University of Victoria where he met his wife Rebecca. I have no idea what a Canadian rower is. So, Jenny Lawson. I guess she's an online author. I have no idea. Craig Lamond, the 3-time Tour de France winner, was also an adult before he discovered that he had ADHD, a diagnosis that made sense of the frustration of the low self-esteem that married his childhood. I don't think low self-esteem has to do with ADHD. I think anybody, even if they don't have ADHD, can have low self-esteem. The environment does count, but I don't think a diagnosis does. My doctor, Adam Levine. My doctor diagnosed me with ADHD in my early teens. What was really helpful to me was learning that my real medical condition, I had ADHD. Okay, that Howie Mandel, he is open about this. Comedian, actor, television host, and voice actor, well-known host of the MC show Deal or No Deal. He's actually open about that. Audra McDonald, mother, activist, a 6-time Tony Award-winning stage singer and actress. Audra McDonald made history when she won her 6th Tony Award for playing Billie Holiday. She was the only woman ever to earn that many Tony Awards. In her acceptance speech, she thanks her parents for not medicating her when she was diagnosed with ADHD. Quote, I want to thank my mom and dad up in heaven for disobeying the doctor's orders and not medicating me, their hyperactive daughter, and finding out that she was what she's into instead. Once again, another thing I similarly mentioned. I didn't know she had it, but something I similarly echoed in my video. ADHD people, ADHD is not real. We're gifted individuals. Not real in the case of being a disorder. Alan Meckler, a publishing chairman. Representative Kendrick Meek, the U.S. representative, former U.S. representative of Florida from 2003, 2007, 2011. Matt Morgan. David Needleman. Paula Orfala. Ty Pennington. That I didn't know. Michael Phelps. He's very open about that. Pete Rose. That I didn't know. Cincinnati Cubs player. Michelle Rodriguez. Lewis Smith. Leigh Steinberg. Payne Stewart. Channing Tatum. That I didn't know. Shane Victorino. Who does he play for? The B looks like the Brooklyn Cyclones symbol, but I gotta look up who he plays for. Maybe he works for Baltimore. Bubba Watson, golf player. Henry Winkler. That I didn't know. He rose to stardom despite early struggles with dyslexia and attention deficit / hyperactivity disorder 2003, writing children's novels about the world's greatest underachiever. He said of his Hank Zipzer series, quote, and I'm the bottom 3% academically, unquote. Wow. And Brooklyn Wofford. I guess this is her saying about herself. I am hashtag one of the 15 million Americans living with ADHD. Once upon a time, a Southern belle followed her dreams to a land 1,200 miles away from everything she ever known. 3 years later, she is living happily ever after as Mrs. Minnesota, United States 2015, and a CHADD champion. I have no idea. I know what the ADD stands for, attention deficit disorder, or disorder, but I have no idea what the CH stands for. Who is achieving her career and personal goals while unlocking confidence through the arts. So that's the list. I find it interesting. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. And Nicole, I hope I answer your questions to the best of my ability. See ya.